Welcome back. Mark Bertoli joining us from Abbott Wealth Management today. How are you doing today, Mark?
Oh, fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
Too bad about the clouds today, but what can you do?
Well, we had some nice sunshine.
And it's coming back.
It is.
On Friday or Saturday. We're talking today about the BC forest industry and the state that it's in. Let's get going on that.
Well, you know, in the beginning, we talked about making this segment about what's important to British Columbians and people in this region. And there are a ton of people in this region involved in the forest industry. Interesting thing happened earlier this year. We had such a warm spell in late January, early February. Road restrictions went on real early. Hopefully it gets cold again, so they go off, but that limits the amount that big trucks can be hauling on the roads. Yes. Spring breakup is in the logging industry is the phrase, but yeah. So I thought I'd look at what's going on in the forest services industry and you know what's coming up for the year and outlook and stuff like that. So
how are things looking?
Pretty good. We talked about the low Canadian dollar being an advantage for oil and for exporters and manufacturers. It also helps the forest industry. So, you know, when we're selling product into the United States, which is our largest consumer, we are getting paid in American dollars. So it's right now about $1.25 per dollar. That's a really good thing for Canadian producers.
What would you say, though, when would the turning point be where you would say, okay, the dollar's too low? Is there a time where we see that? I mean, for exporting, fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But there must be a line.
It is, and you know, it really hurts the snowbirds. Right, that's the big one. As for manufacturing and things like that, it almost stimulates our economy. You know, it's an influx. We'll now have a great tourism season because the Americans will be coming up because they got $1.25, you know, spending power on their dollar. So it's a big thing.
More people likely to perhaps stay in Canada for their holiday time, perhaps, and go south of the border.
I think so.
Your dollar is not going far at 80 cents or thereabouts.
That's right.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah. So our forest industry, just to put things in perspective, it's about $12 billion a year into the economy. It is a major factor, especially BC produces 52% of the softwood lumber in Canada. So when we talk about the forest industry, BC is over half of the industry in all of Canada. Pretty significant. I looked at British Columbia itself. 1 in 16 jobs, or 145,000 people in British Columbia are employed as a result of the forest industry. Very significant. 23% of all rail product in British Columbia is forest. So when we do a little bit of a report about the forest industry, it affects a lot of people in Canada and especially in British Columbia.
So things are going well now, because in the early 2000s, of course, with the pine beetle, there was huge problems there.
Well, there still is. Yeah. You know, they talked about back then, I think it was 2010, that they said that 16 mills would close, but the remainder would be very healthy. Thus far, about 14 major mills have closed. So they're on track for that, and it brings more health to the mills that are still open and processing. It is quite a big thing. U.S. is our largest, trade partner with lumber, with China being second. China's volume looks stable for 2015, but the U.S. is doing better. So we have, back in 2005, we had about 2 million starts. We're down to 1 million starts last year, but that was up about 8.5%. We should see an increase there as well as the Canadian dollar is an advantage for our producers. Sure. There's last topic about about our forest industry. The softwood lumber agreement was created in 2006. I think it's going to come up, and there's word of it coming up for renegotiation in October of this year. It's not good that our dollar's this low for that negotiation, because Canadian producers have a distinct advantage at that. Okay. So
interesting.
So that's yeah.
We have about 45 seconds left, but I would love to get the question of the week up on the screen if we could. Thank you very much to Downstairs. And the question is this: what are the RRSP limits for 2015, and what is the final date that people can contribute? Okay, so the amount for the contribution level for this year, if you had maximum income, is $24,930. And that's determined by your 2000, and that's for the 14 year, determined by
18% of your previous 2013 income. However, very easy thing to look at. Look at your notice of assessment or your reassessment from last year, from 2013, and the bottom of the page will be your allowable contribution for 2014. Okay. Also, another little trick, you can just go on and Google My CRA, and a page will come up where you can create your own account and look at what all your tax-free savings, RSPs, and all that sort of stuff. So Monday, March 2nd is the final day for contributions for the 2014 tax year.
Good to know. They give you that little extra window.
Right.
Awesome. Mark, thank you for being here today.
That's it.
Information on the screen. If you would like to get in contact with Abbott Wealth, you can certainly do that with the information there. We are back in 2 minutes with Joe Barry from Run Club. Stay with us.